and it still remains like one of the great films about like the way kids' minds work, I think. And
thank you, man.
It's so strange to see him here as all grown up. You guys, you premiered this film at Comic-Con in July, and that was, I believe, the first time it played for just an audience, a regular audience. There's a certain, I mean, this is a very popular series of books. There's a certain degree writing on this. Was that sort of tell me about that experience, and just, was it nerve-wracking? Was it exciting to see it with a crowd finally? Tell me about that experience.
I mean, it's both, you know, like it's, I have like butterflies every time I walk into one of these things, and, you know, but it's excitement. It's because I'm so excited, you know, to finally just see your guys' reaction and to finally just be sharing this with you guys, you know, it's the best. We've been waiting for so long. It's been over a year since we wrapped the movie, you know, and it's something we're all really proud of, so it's just fun. It's really exciting constantly.
What about you guys? What was your Comic-Con experience like? Because I don't think either one of you had been there before.
No,
is that right?
it was crazy. It was really cool. You wake up and there's like stormtroopers fighting outside your hotel room. It was a lot of fun. It was just nice all being together, experiencing something fun. I know Dill had been there before for Teen Wolf, but he got to go with us, and it was like we wore masks and walked around and got to see a bit of it, and it was just great. I mean, it was so lovely to get to show the film to a room of people who really care about it, and you could feel the energy when we walked in. It was like, it was buzzing, and it was really cool.
I'm curious in the audience, how many of you have read this book or read this book? Well, that's a lot. All right. When did you guys first get a sense of there you go, get a sense of sort of how big a deal this was, like how big a deal this series was, and I mean, beyond just being told it, I guess, when you first signed on, but when did you really get a sense of, oh, this is what's going on here, like this is how much people care about this material and these characters? Do you remember that?
I mean, I think for me, it's been this press tour and coming to each one of these screenings and seeing you guys, and you know, you're all like, you know, 90+% of you guys every time we come into a theater have read the books and are, you know, true fans, you know, I think so that for me that's like what's been crazy, and I don't know if that's me just realizing it or if the movie's been helpful, which would be great too, because, you know, I just think it's I love the book so much, you know, and I'm so glad I got to be a part of this movie, and you know, I became such a fan of the book after I signed on to the film, because I just didn't know what it was until I became a part of it, and it's a story that I think, you know, deserves it, and so it's just awesome.
I kind of wonder while you're shooting it, if you're aware of how big a deal it is, that might be a distraction to a certain degree. Like, I better not, every day, like, I better not screw this up today, you know.
Well,
you have to put that out of your head, sort of, or?
Do you know what's crazy about that is, it can be, like, seen as a pressure, you know, and, like, something that to kind of potentially psych you out and throw you off kind of your performance or make the task harder, just because, you know, you realise that there's more expectation and there's already a crowd who, you know, have formed expectations off the back of the book. But for us, like, all we've experienced with Maze Runner fans is just complete positivity. We've never had a single negative message, you know. A couple of people freaked out when they saw a water tank in the trailer. I think that was the only time we ever got any back. They were like, there's no water in the film, where's the water coming from? And we were like, it's okay, it's a flashback, it's all good, and like, we managed to kind of calm that down. Other than that, like, it's been overwhelmingly positive, and we all read the messages that we got on Twitter, and, you know, we appreciated all the kind of online support that you guys and all the other sort of Maze Runner fans gave us, and it really fueled us along the way. You know, it was less of a pressure and more of just a reminder of why we were doing it, and it was nice to get, you know, some form of approval or some sort of pat on the back, like, during the process, because often you go away on these things, you work away in the dark for so long, and you have to wait for that kind of gratification. So it was just awesome, and we're really grateful for it.
When your director Wes, he's a first-time feature director, although he's worked in the movie industry for a very long time, done some great short films. Yeah, he did a hell of a job. But when you're first deciding whether you want to be a part of this with a new director, what did he show you or talk to you about to sort of convince you, like, this is in good hands with this guy? Like, what does he do?
Well, for me, like, first of all, it was not a deciding factor. It was like, you know, very much vying for the role, and just it's up to them whether or not I get it. But the second I sat down with Wes, was just you just realize. I guess there was a couple steps. You see his short. If any of you have seen his short that he has online, it's what got him the job, and it's this 8-minute, completely, you know, animated short, or CGI. I guess it's just like a little action short that he made by himself for like less than $10,000, and it's incredible. Like the thing feels like a sequence from Maze Runner, and it's crazy. And
the short's called Ruin.
Yes,
right? That's
Ruin,
what. Yeah,
Ruin.
you can probably find it online.
Absolutely, so. You can. It's up there, and it's incredible. And then when I met him too, we spent the first meeting we had was just 2 hours of him laying out binderfuls of just like showing me this world that he had already, you know, created in his head over the last year. All the prep work he had done. He had already prevised certain sequences and showed me how he wanted to go about them. He had you know, his own sketches of Grievers, and he had sketched a maze and like an aerial view of it, and he sketched what the glade was going to look like. You know, he's kind of like incredible that way. And then also what struck me too was like the first thing he talked about when we sat down was how hard this was going to be, and the challenge that it was going to be, and what we were going to be up against. And that was really important because you know, if he'd sat down, he was just like, "Isn't this going to kick ass?" You know, that's a different thing. He like sat down and he was like, "Well, you know, we have 40 days to shoot a movie that we'll need like 60 to 80, and it's going to be really tough. Like, but I think we can make something really special out of it. And like, here's all this and everything else I just said. You know, he's just incredible, and it just gets better and better from there. Then working with him, you know, how he works with the actors, he's amazing. He's going to be a star, and we're so lucky to you know, have been in his first film.
Yeah, getting on the ground floor. What do you guys remember about meeting him the first time and just what his vision was?
I remember him pitching me the box, you coming up in the box, and he started talking about it, and then he stood up, and then he started making these noises, and then his hands started flying around, and then he was running around the room, and I could just picture it perfectly. I'd never kind of had that experience, and it was like 20 minutes, me and Amel, and he just, like, every single sound of the box, from the pig to the rattling of the cage to the doors opening, he did it. It was like a one-man show. And I was like, okay, he knows what he's doing. Cool.
Let's talk about your characters a little bit. When you first sort of... was all of your first experiences with this material the script, or did any of you read the book first?
Mine was the script first.
Yeah, script for all of us, I think.
Mine was audition sides, just like without the script.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Just, no, but seriously, just like, you know, just like little excerpts from the script itself. So I didn't actually read that until afterwards.
I'm wondering, was there something about each of your characters that you kind of early on latched onto and said, yeah, I can work with that, I can build on that. That's what's interesting about this person. Do you remember anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, you go first. You go.
Okay, well, if you don't want to, then I feel bad, and I'll take it.
Well, you have to answer this one.
Great. I loved just how truthful and honest of a character Thomas was, and I was really attracted to the arc of the character too. I think it's just something that I connect with and that I admire, I guess, and just understand. Like, I just understood my role to the story, and you know, I loved the idea of like in this crazy world, it's like somewhat of a coming of age, you know, for this kid. You know, he's like sort of becoming a man in so many ways in like such a short period of time. And I love that, you know, that he's discovering all these things about himself, like right in front of your eyes, you know. And that's something that I just think is so cool about the idea of the story, that our memories are all wiped, and that you're with Thomas and Kai's character too, Teresa, you know, from the second that they, you know, wake up again. And from that second, they are completely rediscovering and repaving who they are as a person. You know, things, qualities, elements to themselves that they never even knew that they had. I just thought that was really cool. And yeah, other stuff I said.
What about you two? What do you remember sort of latching onto about your characters?
For me, it was I like to play interesting people always. I liked that, you know, she turns up and she's not trying to make any friends. She's not necessarily likable straight away. I think it's kind of, we're sort of scared of showing women like that in movies sometimes. We feel the need to soften them up and make them vulnerable. And I like that she just says fuck it to that. You know, know, she's there swinging a machete and trying to hit the boys straight away, and she's not wanting to go on dates with them in the woods. I just love that. I think that's really cool. And she's a mystery.
I almost wanted to stand up at the end of the film just because there was not a romantic moment.
Yeah.
So it's such a distraction in the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Please tell people that is like part of what makes this different and not the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, what about you?
Yeah, I was really interested in playing Gally just because I guess you know, the opportunity to play a character who was conflicted as him. You know, I just thought he was interesting. He's ultimately a bit of a coward. You know, I think he puts on the tough guy act. So to play someone who constantly has his guard up and sort of wears this exterior that isn't at all him is interesting, and is kind of the antagonist to Dylan's character. And yeah, you know, it was kind of a challenge for me, different from what I've done before, I guess, in some ways, or at least in America. So I was very grateful that I got given the chance. But you know, just to work with this cast, like it's crazy. You know, I really feel like I'm going to be able to look back and just go, wow, I got to work with all of those amazing actors when they were kind of, you know, coming up and stuff. So which is awesome.
Yeah. The other thing that kind of bonds all the characters is that they're just ordinary people. They're not. There's no choosing ceremony where somebody special gets plucked out, really. They're not born heroes. They're just supposed to be kids thrown into this thing, and they either do what they do here or they die. And I think there's something very grounded about this story that I really appreciated. Was that something you guys sort of liked that was different about
That's
it?
exactly it.
Like that is weird. God bless you, man.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to be the only one to notice that, but yeah, it's
You'd
sort
be
of jumped out at me.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
That's one of our favorite things about the story. I
Yeah.
mean, we always try to bring it up and talk about it. Like, you know, it's such a great tale of just, you know, ordinary kids in extraordinary circumstances. That was like my favorite thing growing up. Like, that's always sort of my favorite story to watch, or one of them, you know. And it's just it's really grounding. You know, it makes these kids, like, what's so special about the movie is that, you know, none of us are superheroes, and none of these characters are superheroes in any way. What makes them heroic is that they're not, and that they do, you know, that they have this courage inside of them, and that they do this insane thing, and they measure up to these, like, you know, ridiculous circumstances. Like, that's what makes people heroic. You know, there's no powers, there's no nothing, there's no super ability. It's just heart, you know.
That and no kissing make this
And
film
no
very
kissing.
I hate kissing.
No flying, no kissing.
Let me ask you, and I'll make sure the audience gets plenty of questions in, but for you two, on the ends here, are you signed on to do more of these?
No,
Should
no.
the occasion call for it? Sorry, man, I hate to leave you
Oh,
out.
dude, don't be silly. Don't be silly. It's all good. Yeah. There's going to be like cutbacks to me with just the stick still in me.
Still dead.
Yeah, little cutbacks. I've got like, I think I'm doing a day on the next film. It's just me with a stick in my chest. For, yeah, that's cool. That's all good.
Can you say whether you've... Should
Yeah, of course we are.
There you
Yeah.
go.
They
Yeah,
wouldn't let
yeah.
us do it if we wouldn't sign on. I don't think, right? It'd be
Be
weird
a
if we
weird
signed up for
film.
the first one and then you're like, I'm not doing the next two. Find a new Thomas.
But Dylan, for you, because of your, I mean, you have like a really busy TV schedule.
Yeah.
You probably only get to do like one movie a year. So,
Yeah. Yes, I am.
so I mean, this had to be a big, a huge. If there are 3 films, this is a huge commitment.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah, well, one of the luckiest, you know, I was so lucky. This almost didn't work out for a couple different reasons. One of them was scheduling with the show, and it happened to work out that we shot this movie literally in the 8 weeks that I had off in between shooting Teen Wolf seasons, and so I just, you know, did a season of Teen Wolf, came out to Louisiana, knocked out the 8 weeks of Maze Runner, went right back to Teen Wolf, and it just worked out that way. And then in the future now with these other films, it's going to be a constant scheduling battle. But that's not things that you guys need to worry about. It's stuff that you guys got to worry about over there.
It's a whole team of people that walked in with you to worry about it for you.
It'll work out though, because it has to. I mean, you know.
Yeah. All right. Who has questions here for any of our... Okay, I'm going to start with you because you're the first hand I saw go.
Hi, my name's Caitlin. I have a question for Dylan. You on Teen Wolf, although your styles is very serious, he's also very comical. And as Thomas in Maze Runner, your character was straight up serious. You did not really have any comedy about it. Is there any different methods you use for acting when playing styles and then playing Thomas, or is it just? all mushed together in an actor?
It's just a different world, you know. I literally just feel like I'm a different person and I'm in a different place, and not to say, I mean, not in a deep way, just a very simple way, you know. It's just a different story. Like, there's not much room for humor here, and I was very aware of that. Like, especially when, you know, maybe a little bit in the beginning when he's first kind of there, but like, there's most part it's something that has to be taken very seriously, and you know, it's a straight drama, and it needs to play that way, and it's nothing that I do specifically acting, I guess. I don't know. I just, you know, it's a different person to me, and it's always either something serious, whereas, you know, Styles is always there's always room for humor with him, you know, like he kind of just cracks up that wolves are in his lives, you know. So, you know, there's just more room for that, I guess, in that world. Like, it's like, wow, you know, my best friend's a wolf, get the hell out of here. And then, like, this is like, no, I can't laugh. I don't know.
That's the third reason this movie is unique, because no one seemed to think that there was a need to toss in some comic relief. Like, it's a deadly serious movie. Why do we need to laugh during that? Why can't we be serious and like keep the tension up? So okay, let's keep them coming. All right. Okay, all right, right here, I saw you.
Okay, so I'm super honored to be in a room with you guys, and in a room full of Maze Runner fans. Yeah, so my question is for all three of you. If you guys had to choose a character other than the one you play, who would you choose to play, and why?
Batman, probably. In the film.
I mean, it doesn't matter, but...
I just really want to play Batman. I think I would probably want to play Albie. I think Amel did such a good job. Sorry, I've been an idiot. Amel did such a good job, so I can't imagine anyone else in any other roles, to be honest, because just everyone killed their roles, I think, you know. But probably Amel. Probably Amel's role, Albie.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I love Albie too. We've been asked this like a couple times, and every time it's happened, I end up just listing everyone. And I'm like, Minho, Callie, Newt, Chalk, Teresa. Albie's a really good one. I love Albie so much. I'm trying to think of someone that, you know, I haven't really thought of throughout this process. Yeah, let's do Chuck. I did say that one time, but... Yeah, Fry Pan. I'd be Fry Pan. Yeah, I don't have the personality to play Fry Pan. I mean, Dex is like, you know, yeah, it's so hard to take away from him. But yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it from him.
I always like to think I could play a good griever. First thing in the morning when I'm hungry and tired. I think I'd be pretty scary.
I wonder if one of you is going to say that. Okay, I'm just going to see if there's anybody. That corner of the room is a blind spot to me. All right, back in the corner over there. Yes.
Okay. So my question is for all three of you, since you guys said that you read the script first and then read the books. Do you think that like skewed your opinion of? Because obviously we all read the books first and then see the movie, so we like the books. Right. But what do you guys think, since it was opposite for you?
Well, it's, you know, I think the fact that it didn't skew much is just a testament to how well captured the spirit was in the script anyway. Because when we went to reading the books, it was like we were reading the same story, and there was just certain elements that were in the books that were not there in the script. But, you know, as far as like things that we need to know, it was just more source material, more source material to go with. Like, you have more, you know, in-depth background things that you can take from ideas, you know, just more, you know, things to, you know, use as an actor, resources. But like, as far as the idea goes, just the general idea of the characters, it was all there. It was all, you know, all the same as what the book is, for me at least.
Will, your character is probably the most different from what's in the book. He's a little less straight up villain and a more, I mean, definitely there's more of trying to sort of get where he's coming from, and a little more understanding of just how he's clinging